Guys, this is Miss Crosby and I'm back in the garden. I want to show you guys my papaya today, and also I've got my Jamaican Sorrell roselle. These make the most lovely tea you have ever tasted, and the jellies and jams are fabulous too. You see these little red, they look like flower buds, but they're actually seed pods. That's what you make the jellies and stuff out of. After the seeds have fully developed, further down on the branches, you get these fat little seed pods. And as you can see, they're going to get fatter and fatter as the seeds plump up in them. This one's just about ready right here. It's getting pretty fat. It's about the size of a, I don't know, a golf ball. Just about the size. When they get about the size of a golf ball, they're ready. About ready to harvest, okay? And this is the flour that they make, and they're covered with flowers right now. I want to plant some of these in the front yard if I could get enough sunshine up there for them to grow this big. They're so beautiful. Unfortunately, here in zone 8B, the frost kills them. So the honeybees and the butterflies and stuff like that, they lose them. But in Jamaica, places like that, in real tropical regions, they get real big and they grow all year, and they keep growing and keep growing and keep growing because they don't get cold winters there. But here in 8B, when we get a cold snap and the frost kicks in, the frost will kill them. But this is the growth I've gotten in 1 year from my Jamaican sorrel. This is from one seed. If I can back up enough to show you. That's it, from one bush, from one seed, from one of those seed pods. Now, I saved like a quart-sized jar of seed pods last year because I had planted them in a shady area and they did not do as well as they're doing this year. But this year, I figured out that they like the sunshine. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bushes there. And then if I turn around and go this way, I've got another, I think, 3 bushes on that row over there. 1, 2, and then there's a third one way down there on the end that you can't hardly see. I want to also show you my papayas, and they're the ones that are poking out above everything else. They're going to make trees, and they're a tropical tree. So in 8B, which is the southernmost part of Georgia, we sometimes get winters here that are cold enough to kill them, and sometimes we don't. So they could go for a couple years, according to my research. They could go for a couple years before they die. So I bought a papaya at the grocery store, and I believe it was organic, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if I got it from Food Line or Publix. I think it was from Food Line. But anyway, could have been Harvey's before Food Line bought them out, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I got them from the grocery store, and I planted the seeds, and I potted them up and kept potting them up into the next bigger pot until we had the garden ready, and I brought them out here. Now this one I planted out here first, and if you look at the, okay, there's the base. I planted them on, here's my tag, planted the seeds on 3/7/22. okay, today is 9/22, I think it is, 22. Okay, so 6 months later, this is the growth we have. There's the fruit. In 6 months, I have fruit on this tree. And I hope that the winter doesn't kill it. Because if you look, it's taller than me. I'm 5'4", 5'5" on a good day when I've had all my water. And it's taller than I am. And the trunk of it, there's my little chair, if that gives you a basis for comparison. There's my chair I sit in underneath the shade of my tree that I planted 6 months ago, which is unheard of for a fruit tree. Now, because I'm practicing food forest practices, I have some lovely holy basil planted right here beside it, and it's doing really great. It loves it here in the semi-shade. Get good sunshine in the morning time, and then in the afternoon it's a little bit protected from the foliage of my papaya, so it is loving it up right here. And then on the other side, I've got some mint planted, so that it can protect my plants from the critters as much as possible. I'll probably regret having planted this mint right here, but I'm trying to protect the garden from as many pests as possible. And I've heard that it spreads pretty quickly. I've got it in containers up at the house, but out here I kind of planted it in the ground just to see what would happen, I guess. But anyway, there's my sorrel. Now, these seeds were planted on the same day, but depending on when I got them out here to the garden, this was the row I planted first. And you can see this tree is much, much larger because it was in the sunshine sooner. Whereas this one was sitting up in the shade by the greenhouse underneath my magnolia tree so it wouldn't dry out. But without that full direct sun, they just don't get that big, okay? But if you plant them in the direct sunshine, they go nuts. They're like a tomato. They love the heat and they just want to be punished, kind of like a tomato. This one here is my basil. And it smells so good. I've harvested off of it 3 times. I've gotten a 3-gallon bucket off of this basil, and another time I got half a bucket, and it looks like I need to come out here this week and get another bucket full. I've made 3 or 4 quart-sized bags of pesto, and they're in the freezer. And I've also got a bunch of it dried and put in containers in the house to last us through the whole winter. And I think this plant has done so well, it has earned itself a winter pass into the greenhouse. So I'm going to come out. Today's the first day of fall. I'm going to come out in the next month and I'm going to start digging things up. The basil's one of the things I'm going to dig up. I'm going to dig up a few of my serrano peppers and a few of my jalapeno peppers, and I'm going to overwinter them in the greenhouse. And I think another thing that I have fallen in love with, let me go this way. I'm sorry if y'all have to look at the cardboard in my aisles, but my husband's truck broke down and we can't get any more mulch to cover everything. This is my new favorite bush, aside from the Jamaican Sorrell, which is doing amazing. This is a cranberry hibiscus. Okay, I've always loved the hibiscus flowers, but I never knew how yummy they were. This is edible. So is the Jamaican Sorrell hibiscus, but I like the cranberry hibiscus so much better. It tastes so yummy, and I'm going to stick it in my mouth and eat it, and I'm not going to show you my face while I do it because I don't have no makeup on or nothing. But it has this lemony kind of flavor. It is really good. So what I've started doing is coming out here and pruning off some of the younger leaves, and I'm dehydrating them in my dehydrator so that over the winter time we'll have that extra vitamin impact. You know, this is a cranberry color, and so it's got vitamins in it that your other leafy greens are not going to have in it. You can tell by the color, and I can look it up and you know, put all that stuff in the description for you if you want me to. But this is going to have different vitamins than that one. They're different varieties. Different colors indicate some of the different vitamins that they have in them. Purple vegetables have different vitamins in them as well. So you kind of have to, that's why they say, the nutritionists say, you want a colorful plate, okay? So I can harvest these tender greens on my regular Jamaican Sorrell hibiscus, and I can harvest those on my red hibiscus, my cranberry hibiscus, and I can get the basil and stuff like that and incorporate those into the rest of my garden. So I'm really excited about some of the extra minerals and vitamins I'm going to be giving my family this summer, or excuse me, this winter, from the summer, okay, from our growth in the summer. And we are starting to prepare this row of sweet potatoes. We've been digging it out so that, and I've got another, 75 feet or so to go all the way down there. We've dug out about this much so far, just about, 12, maybe 15 feet, about that. But we, yeah, we're going to finish digging this row out this month, hopefully. And if not this month, we'll finish it out next month, getting into October. We should be able to get all the potatoes out of here, though, before November, when we're expecting a frost down here in South Georgia. So, Potatoes are the last thing I'm going to harvest out of here, and the papayas, they're over there too. And then I'm going to get my sorrel seed pods so that I can make jellies and jams, and I can freeze them in the freezer if I need to, and I can also save the seeds from those as well. This one's about ready right here. I want to show you one of them. Let me see if I can get it off so you can see. Yep, there it goes. So you can see exactly what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so these leathery petals right here are the actual part that you use to make the jellies, jams, and teas out of. Okay, so you just peel them off like that, and when you cook these down, they make the most beautiful reddish fuchsia kind of gorgeous tea. I mean, it's so pretty, and it tastes delicious. It is chock full of vitamin C, and to top it all off, it also fights cancer. It fights lung cancer specifically. They're doing some research now that it has some really good results. So when I pull this off, these little petals, and pull them to the side, you can see the seed pod underneath, right? So inside the seed pod, as it matures, you get these nice round brown seeds. Right now they're going to be green because they're not quite dried enough. But if I were to take these little petals inside and kind of crush them a little bit, they're leathery like, I could take these and put them inside in some hot water and make myself a cup of tea with them right now. Now, they are more potent when you chop them finely and dehydrate them. You can dehydrate them just like this and then chop them up later if you want to. Either way, you put them in a tea ball and you brew them up as your tea, and it's delicious. It has this nice lemony cranberry kind of flavor, but it's not as sharp. It's not bitter tasting. Like cranberry has a slight bitterness to it. This tea does not. It has a hint of cranberry, but it's not overwhelming like regular cranberry juice. I prefer this to cranberry juice, honestly, because cranberry juice is a little bit pungent to me. And if I break this open with my thumbnail, I don't know if I can get through it right now, it's so young, you'll see green round seeds inside. But if I waited, they'd be brown seeds when they're ready. Okay.